Welcome to this episode of the Martial Truth, McDojo's. But before we get on to that, I'm just returned from vacation, 10 days, very nice, visiting New Hampshire and Chicago. Took in a Red Sox game at the White Sox Stadium, very good time. But now back to business with the channel and podcast and teaching martial arts and everything else, okay? Please, again, you like the videos, click the like, subscribe button. Please share. Consider becoming a member. We have over 100 member videos up there. We're adding more every week. All right. We just keep plugging along with that. All the different martial arts I do. If you want to buy some merch, you can see here I'm wearing an example of one of them. It's the Kata Stupid, which, you know, it's always something we've been saying in our dojo for years. When someone asks something and they'll go, oh, it's in the kata. And we always go, yeah, it's in the kata, stupid. So kind of a play on the keep it simple, stupid, right? So going to get back to interviews, hoping to conduct an interview tomorrow, which if that's the case, it'll be up next week. And I have a bunch of other interviews planned going down the road, which I hope you'll enjoy. People seem to be liking the interviews. So we'll just keep plugging along. And again, if you have any topics you want to see me cover, please mention it. I'll get back to in the future doing podcasts where I'm part in a chair and part demonstrating some stuff to cover some topics. And that's what we'll work on. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about McDojo's. Okay, so what's a McDojo? Well, you know, that's kind of a funny question because there seems to be a lot of different answers out there. So, you know, you hear the one guy who says, oh, yeah, I do real martial arts. That guy down the block from me, he's a McDojo. He's teaching bullshit, okay? What he's doing is not real. It's crap, you know. Okay, well, does he have a lot of students? Are people going there and signing up? Are they enjoying the training? I mean, okay, if they're doing that, you know, what does it mean? I don't know what it means, but, you know, my idea of a McDojo is a dojo that uses certain tactics similar to like the gym. So the gym wants you to join. They want everybody that walks through that door to join, and then they hope you never show up. So you're signed in for a year contract, whatever it is at the gym. You know, you go the first week, the first month, you're all amped up, and then all of a sudden, boom, it stops. Okay, you're not going anymore, but that money's still coming out of your account every month, and you keep saying to yourself, yeah, I'm going to get back to the gym, but do you ever get back to the gym, right? Maybe not, okay? So it's the same type of tactics I see with some modern dojo. So, you know, for years and years and years, I didn't have contracts. And I don't have contracts in Arizona, but the situation here is a little bit different. I don't have a high monthly rent, okay? The dojo's on my property. You know, I'm living the dream when it comes to having a dojo on my own property, okay? But in New York, there's a high monthly bill. You had to make sure everything was covered. And, you know, for a long time, I didn't have contracts. And the reason I didn't have contracts was I just felt it wasn't fair to lock someone into that yearly contract, all right? But then I noticed a pattern starting to happen as modern people changed a little bit, and parents would come to me and say, in like November, oh, little Johnny's not going to come for the next 3 months because it's a little cold. So he's not going to come. So we'll see you back in the spring. Okay, well, one kid does that. All right, I can absorb that. But 3, 4, 5, 6 kids do it. Then the parent telling me, oh, we're not coming for the summer. We're not going to come for the summer. Okay, so now that's more, you know. And it got to the point where the dojo was in financial distress. And I finally decided, okay, I've been a nice guy for a long time, but I'm not getting the same back from students. The students are deciding, well, you know what? I'm going to take off for the summer and go to the beach and not train. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stay home in the winter because it's cold and it's a little darker and I don't want to drive out in my car. Okay, not a problem. So now I institute contracts. And it's quite simple. You sign a year contract. At the time was, I believe, $165 a month for 7 days a week of classes in New York, right? Or you pay $200 a month. You can pay monthly, but you're going to pay $200 a month, all right? And guess what most people did? Pretty much everybody jumped on the contract. And we set up a system where the money came out of their account every month, like clockwork, and that was it. And it was amazing. What I noticed was attendance dramatically improved. Huh. So attendance went up dramatically. All of a sudden, parents weren't coming to me and saying, oh, by the way, little Johnny's taking off for the winter. Oh, by the way, the adult student coming to me going, you know what? I'm not going to come down for the summer. It's too hot. I'm just not going to come down. That all stopped because that money's coming out whether they come or not. Okay? And, we had a few people that tried to break the contracts and we sent them to collections. It's quite simple. If someone decided they wanted to leave, they had to leave because they were moving, totally different story. We nixed the contract. Good luck with your life. Appreciate you being here. We weren't looking to hurt people, but this is how we operated under the contract system once we initiated it. But now there's some other places that I've heard about with contracts. And again, I'm talking New York because I'm not out here in Arizona enough to really know what the chains are out here. But in New York, you had several chains. One of them being Tiger Schulman's, popular. The guy adapts his marketing. Every time a different martial art gets popular, all of a sudden that's what his commercials go to. All right. Someone I know had signed up there and literally tore up his knee. Tore it up. Couldn't train anymore. Couldn't do anything. Tiger Schulman took him to court, and they won, even with doctor's notes and everything else. And that guy had to keep playing that contract until that contract was up. And again, some of these places don't do a year contract. They do multi-year contracts. And how do they do this? How does this McDojo does this? Well, you initially sign up for the trial class, right? So maybe the trial class is a month or 2 months, right? And, we have a trial class too in New York where you can sign up for 2 months at a certain price. And then after that, you have to commit to the contract. And if you don't show back up after those 2 months, we're never calling you in New York. I'm never calling you here if you decide to quit. Because again, that's not my job. My job's not to talk you into coming back to training. I want people that want to train. I don't want to force, I don't want to put pressure on anybody to train. So anyway, what a lot of these places do is, and parents should be aware of this, is, your son signs up and he's there and you sign him up for the thing and then you sign up for the year contract. Now, 2 months into the year contract, they ask to have a meeting with you. They sit you down in the office and they say, listen, little Johnny is the next Bruce Lee. Little Johnny is amazing. He's going to the Olympics. He's going to be competing in martial arts in the Olympics. Okay? So now you're a parent. We all want our kids to do what? We want them to do great, right? So you're a parent. You listen, you think little Johnny's that good? Yeah. So we're going to offer you this one-time deal where you commit to 3 years. And at the end of those 3 years, little Johnny is guaranteed his black belt as long as he attends X amount of classes. And then we'll see what happens after that. And, if you're talking about a 6, 7-year-old kid, in New York, we took him even younger. But let's say 6 or 7. And we all know a kid could do karate for a year and then after that decide he doesn't want to do it. And now the parents are dealing with a kid who doesn't want to do it, who's, hates it, doesn't want to go anymore. They're forcing him to go because they're paying for it. This is what these schools do. The other thing with these McDojo's is they sign on with these marketing companies. And the marketing companies basically tell them how to run their dojo. Oh, you need to have a lot of classes. Okay? And, like your kids' classes, you have to have a lot during the week. And what you do is you get the teenagers to help teach it. So you get these kids that are green belts, brown belts. They're going to come in, teach the kids' classes under your supervision. You might be in the office, but you're there. They're teaching it. You'll work with them how to teach these classes so you can have as many classes as possible, getting as many people in through the door. Now, listen, if you're doing martial arts for a living, I understand you may have to do some of this stuff, and I'm not knocking you. You've got to put food on the table. You've got to pay your bills. That's why I made sure I never did martial arts for a living, even though now I do it for a living, but I'm retired. I'm a retired police officer, so I have my pension, right? So I have a little bit of money coming in from the martial arts. That's great. Use it to buy equipment, can use it maybe to take a trip, right? If I want to go train with someone, like I'm going to Okinawa in the fall, right? Whatever I decide to do, okay? But I never relied on the martial arts paying my mortgage, paying my major bills, all right? That just wasn't in the cards, all right? Did it pay some bills? Of course it did, right? But it wasn't paying the big bills, the mortgages, the car payments, different things, all right? So now, what they do is these marketing companies, they have you do this with the classes, and then they break them up. They break the classes up into beginner, intermediate, advanced classes. So now beginners are only training with beginners, and they've got to work to get moved into that intermediate class, right? And then they got to work to go from the intermediate to the advanced class. And then there's black belt classes. Oh, I want to be in the black belt classes, all right? So they also charge exorbitant test fees. Now, again, if you're getting it, God bless you. But I just don't feel comfortable charging these exorbitant test fees. So in my dojo, white belt test fees are $20, green belt test fees are $30, brown belt test fees are $40. Okay, that's what they are. All right. A lot of times here in Arizona, if I have people testing in Ishinryu and Kobudo in the same night, I only charge them the one test fee. I don't double it up on them. I just don't think it's right. Right. So, and so that's that. So, but we're talking high test fees, high test fees. Okay. Give you one quick story. Ishinryu Dojo in Connecticut, so-called famous teacher, no longer with us, right? We go there. They asked me to come up. They'd left their teacher, and they asked me if I could help them reestablish a link to Okinawa, which I did, and then I left them on their own. They weren't interested in being under me. That's fine. I could care less. But we were there, and one of the guys, students, was saying to me, yeah, we gave Sensei so-and-so $1,000 to send to Master Shimabuku in Okinawa. And my student is sitting next to him. He went up with me and looks at him and said, $1,000 for what? He said, well, that's what Master Shimabuku charges for Shodan, first degree black belt. He charges $1,000. And this is going back over 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And my student turned to him and said, I just made black belt 6 months ago. It was $75. And the guy goes, what? And my student goes, yeah, it's $75. And I looked at him, I said, yeah. I says, Nidan's like 100. I said, Sandan's, I think at that time was 120. Maybe Sandan's 150 now. It's not that much, right? And that made me actually put the list of fees that Master Shimabuku charges on the IWK website because of these unscrupulous practices by these dojos. And I would consider that guy a McDojo. He's ripping off his students to put as much money in his pocket as he can, And it doesn't matter the quality of the product. If you're using all these scams to make money off the backs of your students, is that fair? I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think it's right. So these marketing companies come in, they give you all these advice. And one of the advice they give you is, well, you need to have a new product every month. And then you need to push people to buy products. So for instance, right, you join the dojo, you have to pay for the sparring gear package. So now you're buying sparring gear. And it's a lot of money. Okay. Now if you're doing weapons, now you got to buy all the weapons. And it's not cheap. I mean, I do weapons here. Initially, I don't require anybody to buy weapons. I have extra that they can use. But after a couple of months, I said to them, okay, listen, it's time to buy a bow. You got to think about buying Sai, okay? So just want to keep that in mind, right? So these are the type of things. I had a student who had a school, storefront school, and every time I'd go there to teach a class for him, I noticed there were new products. And I look at it, boy, do you really sell a lot of this stuff? Well, some things are required. They have to purchase them. Okay, so now you're forcing people to buy products that maybe they don't want. Okay, like I'm wearing my It's the Kata Stupid t-shirt. If you want to buy one, great, right? Believe me, don't think I'm making a lot of money on it, because I'm not, all right? But if you don't want to buy it, I don't really care. I'm not losing sleep over that, all right? I'm not going to force people to do anything. You don't want to watch my videos? Don't watch them. You want to watch them? Watch them. It doesn't matter, right? I'm doing them because I like doing it, right? So I said to him, I said, I walk in your dojo and you got a leak here. And you got a garbage can there that the leak is going into the garbage can. And I said, and then over here, you got paint peeling off. And I said, maybe you want to fix some things in your dojo. Make it a little more nicer. I think people would enjoy the experience of training there a little bit more. But no, he wanted to take as much money as possible, put that money in his pocket, and do the minimum. And that's okay. I mean, I see a lot of the McDojo in New York look beautiful. They're fixed up very nice. They're great. The ones that are franchises, I mean, they're expected to bring in money because the person that they franchise with, he wants money. I mean, the guy Tiger Schulman in New York's been jammed up several times with the state. Look it up. I'm not making these things up. All right. Where he felt franchisees weren't sending him enough money. All right. Now, as far as the quality of the instruction, believe me, I see more martial arts videos than probably most people on the planet. And some of the stuff I see people teaching, I literally I can't believe what people buy. Okay. I just can't believe the nonsense they believe in. All right. And, if you're running a McDojo, your job is to just get people in the door. The product is designed to just keep them coming back. So what happens in a lot of these McDojos is all they ever do is tell the students how great they are. Wow, you guys are great. Wow, great class. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, everybody cheers at the end of the class. Okay, you come train with me. There's the only time there might be a little bit of applause is when someone gets promoted. Okay, but at the end of the class, we bow out. We go into the next class. The final class of the night is done. We bow out. We get changed. We go on our way. All right. You train with me. It's constant correction. It's never good enough. Now, will I tell you very good, very good? Of course I will. You all of a sudden get something that you've been working hard on. Of course I'm going to say to you, very good, excellent. All right. That you've got that now. Okay. Let's now add this to it. All right. So a teacher who has a high level of ability and a high level of teaching ability should be able to teach you stuff for your entire life. So, I go back to New York, I do these seminars, and I'll do fighting techniques, and one of my guys who's with me 35 years comes over to me and says, Sensei, 2 of those techniques you did I never saw before. And I'm like, good, because the wheels are always turning in the Calandra head, right? I'm always looking at possible application practices for bunkai, possible better ways of doing a technique for self-defense, all right? Better ways of moving biomechanically the body to not injure the body, to not cause us to get these hip replacements, knee replacements, different things. All right. So my Tai Chi master once told me when I applied to become a disciple, right, I wasn't really clear on the whole discipleship thing. And so he told me from the Chinese perspective, historically, what it was. And I was like, oh, very interesting. It's cool, And then he goes, but really what it means, Mike, is I'm never going to tell you good. So you commit to becoming a disciple. It's about me on you, trying to get you to improve. And I'm never going to say to you, okay, that's good. You're finished now. You're good. No, it's always being corrected. I know myself, when I go and train at a seminar, if I go to train in Okinawa or Japan, I don't want to go there and be told how great I am. Okay. I'm not spending all this money to go there to be told how wonderful I am. I want people to say, no, that's wrong. The position you're there is wrong. No, you can do this move in the kata like this. This will improve the movement. No, you want to do this. This application here is a little bit better if you do this. I'm like in seventh heaven. I mean, I want to be corrected. I want to be corrected. All right. But in the McDojo, the corrections are limited. Everything is, you're great. Oh, you punched the bag so hard. Everything's wonderful. All right. At the end, give you a round of applause. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. All right. And again, if that's what you need and you enjoy that, more power to you. I'm not going to knock you for going to that kind of dojo, all right? But, understand that type of dojo, you're not learning a high-level martial art. You're just not, okay? And you might be doing jumps, spinning kicks, and all this athletic stuff, and that's fantastic. And if you're looking to just stay in shape and this makes you happy, by all means, do it. This is America. Okay, land of the free. You can train wherever you want. But for myself, I take martial arts a little more serious. I feel a responsibility that when I teach somebody techniques, that I want those techniques to work if they ever need them in a real situation. A lot of the McDojo make statements like, oh, this technique works every time. Or if you do this, you'll always defeat the opponent. Immediately tells me the guy's never been in a real fight. Ever, okay? There's no technique that works every time. There's no technique that will immediately eliminate the opponent. There's no such thing, okay? One might work on one, You go to do the same technique on someone else, doesn't work. It's just the nature of the beast, okay? Combat is chaos, and that's the way it is, all right? But again, you look at the pattern with these McDojo, right? They use tactics to get you to sign up long term. Then they use tactics to keep you there. They think you're quitting because you're getting discouraged, right? All of a sudden you're testing, you get promoted. Now you're all hyped up again. Okay, good, all right, I'm going to stay. So you see a lot of people getting promoted that don't deserve it, okay? And believe me, I see plenty of that in traditional schools too, okay? Why? Oh, paying for 2 to 3 trips a year to go to Okinawa, okay? Oh, yeah, let's have a round of promotions. I'll make a few $1,000s, okay? Someone once told me when they took over an association that I was a member of that, oh, you should charge $400 for black belt testing. That's what I should charge. The Okinawan master who ran the association first was charging $100. And the dojo kept 25 and 75 went to Okinawa. But now I'm being told to charge 400. I guess so I can go to Okinawa 2 or 3 times a year. But again, you have to have your own integrity and decide how you're going to run things. So what I did is I left that association. I'll go out on my own. I'll do my own thing. I don't have to have an association. I'll just practice and teach who wants to learn from me. All right. So you see these tactics, getting people to sign up, getting them to sign up long term, keeping them there through promotions and rewards, then getting the younger ones to help teach classes, right? Okay. Now, in my dojo, we had that. We had teenagers that came in and helped teach the kids classes. But was it a requirement? Absolutely not. If the teenager didn't want to do it, they don't have to do it. But if they did, what we did was we trained them how to teach. And we explained to them, listen, down the road, you make black belt. You decide years down the road you want to start a class. Well, you're going to have a lot of teaching experience. You'll be ready to go. And that's what we did, okay? And then I would do little things, help them out here and there, whatever, okay? So then the other thing is forcing you to buy things, okay? Exorbitant test fees. These are all things you need to take a hard look at, right? Before you would decide to commit to training at a dojo. Like the funny thing is, I'm here in Whitman, Arizona, which is a very small town on the outskirts of Phoenix, all right? More rural. People walk in here for the first time when they send me a message, hey, I'd like to come try a class. We offer a free trial class. So they come, and they walk in, and they look around, and they go, wow, looked at your resume and now I'm seeing this place, and I can't believe you're in Whitman. Why are you in Whitman? And I'm like, well, because I wanted to move to Whitman. And here's another thing. I always felt that if you have a good product, you'll have students. But the McDojo's, they don't necessarily have a good product. They don't have a long-term product. They have a short-term product. So what they are is they're good at the spiel. They learn from these marketing companies. Well, this is what you want to say. The talking points. This is how you want to respond to that, right? So it's all this type of thing. Whereas in New York, you'd walk in and you were an adult. Can I try the class? Yeah, try the class. All right. Explain to me how it works. Okay, I explain. Well, I don't like contracts. I don't want to commit. Not a problem. Take care. If you want to train here, this is the way it is. All right. If you don't, that's okay too. All right. People that quit, never called them up. Long-term student, call up, check, everything okay? Yeah, sensei, I'm just not coming down right now. Okay, that's it, not calling them back. Okay. Believe me, I've had plenty of students with me 15, 20 years decide to disappear. The dojo keeps going. The dojo's a living, breathing thing. And that's the other thing. With a traditional school, it creates a certain atmosphere. It's not an atmosphere of competition. It's not an atmosphere of rah-rah, everybody's great. No. It's everybody's working at the goal to achieve a certain ability, physical ability, all right? And that's what we work on. So there's plenty of McDojo out there. Be very careful, especially if you're a parent, going to sign your child up. You should do your investigation. There's internet. You can see plenty of things, all right? There's plenty of people you can go, and I'll just leave with this for the parents out there. If you're looking to sign your child up at a dojo, send your wife in. Your wife has that women's tuition. She gets a better vibe, all right? Because the thing we didn't discuss also is a lot of these McDojo hire people off the street to teach. They don't start with them. they put in things. Oh yeah, we're looking for a martial arts instructor, and a guy walks in, and guess what? You just let in the door. Maybe you let in a pedophile. Maybe you let in a child predator. Okay, maybe you let in a rapist. All right. So in my dojo, it's not the case. Everybody starts with me and goes through the ranks, and we get a good feeling of what people are like. Okay, and we know, right? And also because I'm law enforcement and my certificates are up on the wall over there. A guy walks in the dojo, he's a little bit of a dirtbag. He sees the certificates and he thinks, this is probably not the place I should train in. I should go to the guy down the road, right, who's a bit of a dirtbag like me. So send the wife in. You should be able to ask as many questions of the instructor that you're speaking to as possible. If the instructor's getting pissed off at you for the questions or blowing you off or making face, okay, you don't go there. Don't bring your kid there. Don't sign up there. Okay. I get people that come in here and after the classes are done, they want to ask me questions. I stay here. If they want to stay here an hour and ask me questions, no problem. I do it. All right. They have questions. Well, I'm the owner. I'm supposed to have the answers. And I sit here and I just answer their questions. All right. So hope you enjoyed this one. All right. Next week, hopefully back to an interview. All right. And we have, like I said, plenty of interviews planned for the future. Please click that like button. Helps with this YouTube algorithm. Subscribe. All right. Consider becoming a member. Think about buying the It's the Kata Stupid t-shirt. Okay. They're fun shirts. All right. And I'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks. Take care.